Hello and welcome to my talk. My name is Wendy Jane Johnson and my student number is 665150. I have such a short time to say so much. So we'll start with question one. Who are the two most important cognitive development theorists and what was their main contributions to the field of cognitive development? Firstly, comes to mind is Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky. Vygotsky believed that a child's learning was based on language, that is listening to, and being able to follow direct instruction. This was how he measured cognitive development and intelligence. Vygotsky also acknowledged that there had to be a more knowledgeable person, and this became known as the MKO. Such as a teacher, they would be the MKO. We also have with Vygotsky the zone of proximal development, which is seen everywhere and is pivotal to understanding cognitive development, because we know a child is here, this is its current, we can see this, we can actually physically understand this. That is the child's potential. We need, as teachers, to get the child from here to here. Once they're here, then that becomes their potential. And can you see? They're climbing the scaffold, or they're scaffolding their way up to higher education, higher achievement and greater cognitive ability. Piaget believed in the same type of thing. There's definitely stages and you need to definitely work on one stage at a time. But interestingly enough, I found that Piaget actually believed in we had an innate knowledge within us, and I absolutely was fascinated by this, that this knowledge possibly lies dormant until it is stimulated into existence by the facilitator, which could be family, which could be community or teacher. He also found that it wasn't just listening, such as Vygotsky thought with the language, but it was also interacting physically with the surroundings, and through interaction we also learn. Question two, who are two of the key moral development theorists, and are their main contributions to the field of moral development? Once again, Piaget comes up, and so does Lawrence Kohlberg. Both men, very, very briefly, believe that in the younger child they conform, they are obedient, and they follow the rules. They're very conscious of following the rules. This possibly could be because of a fear of consequences that ensue from breaking these so-called rules. But as the child gets older and develops more within the moral field, we see that they start to then have a look elsewhere, and they start to acknowledge their own ideas and opinions, not just those of the facilitator or their family. They begin to actually start to question their own beliefs. Both men to this point believe in the same thing. It is just that whereas Piaget only believes that there are two stages, one which is the heteronymous morality stage and the autonomous morality stage, and that's sort of where he stops. We go on with Kohlberg, who actually has three levels, and within those three levels he sort of expands on the knowledge of Piaget a bit more. Interestingly, I think actually, Kohlberg also, with his levels, he says that adults continue this moral learning, and I think this is really interesting. And anyone who actually has ever studied any of the revolutions, they look for things that are moral injustices, and yeah, it's really interesting to have a look at that. So totally agree with everything that these men are saying. Okay, question 3, why do you think it's important for teachers to have an understanding of cognitive and moral development? Well, one, you need to recognise if it is happening within the student. If either of these is not happening within the student, then you need to do some serious thinking and talking to people. So if you are not aware of these, how do you know what to look for within the child? That's putting it very plainly. Question 4, how will knowing about theories of cognitive and moral development help you in your teaching practice? Once again, it does go back to the previous question, but if these things are being shown or not being shown, whatever the case may be, you as the teacher, you need to be able to enable that particular student to still reach that cognitive development or that moral development. You have a huge responsibility, not just to the child, but to the child's family and to society. Produce a child that is going to be a worthwhile representative of, I guess, your teaching. That's how I see it. So I think that, you need to help them to achieve their higher potential, whether it be in morality-based or whether it be cognitive-based. Question 5, can you please provide an example of the application of cognitive development in the classroom? Give an example, specify the grade and which example applies. I actually went, sorry, this wasp is around me. I actually, the other day was bitten by one, so I'm a bit funny. So cognitive development, we need to have a look at the child, and I need to scaffold where I want that child to be, what the outcome is, where they currently are, where I feel they could be, and try and produce a lesson that is building on their cognitive strengths and abilities. I put that we were doing a lesson for grade 5 and 6 on castles, and I basically was posing to them questions such as, why do you think this would happen, and hoping to stimulate the student to be at this current level, but to once again aim for the potential knowledge which they have access to. It says, can you please provide an example of the application of moral development in the classroom? I used here, I think this is what you wanted, it was grade prep or preps in grade 1, and it was when someone is acting up within the classroom. Interestingly enough, I would then question where their moral development would be. The children who say to that child, stop being naughty, stop being bad, don't be rude, Johnny, to Miss Johnson or whatever, they would be the students that I will acknowledge obviously have some form of or a strong grasp of moral development, and it's formed within that. This wasp and I are going to have words after this. Anyway, yeah, so, sorry, I've gone over. This is just so simplistic. Read my paper. It's got more information in it. I don't know what to say. Thanks for listening, and what an interesting subject. Okay, bye.